Hey, Hebrew and Faith family. It's so good to know that we'll see some of you very soon. We've missed having you here on campus. We wanted to provide an update with just some important information as we think about May 31st and reopening our campus. We've decided on 2 service times, a 9 o'clock outdoor service and an 11 o'clock indoor service. Even now, you can register for those on our website, and we'll talk a little more about that in a moment. But we know that the 9 o'clock option, the outside option, will provide some of you the opportunity to come who may have been a little hesitant to coming to the indoor service that would be planned. Both of those are going to be live streamed. And so if your Connect group is accustomed to meeting through Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever social medium you're using there, you can still plan on watching the 9 o'clock service online if you don't come, and then connect with your Connect group afterward online as well. But both of these will be streamed so that you have options and you and your Connect group can decide what's best for your time together. I do want to say a word. We don't think that you're more faithful if you come versus if you stay home. We want every family to make the decision that's best for them, and we want you to be encouraged. Every family has different health situations going on, and so don't feel any pressure to come to campus. You can still watch these online while we're still in this season with many things that are unknown. I hope that we will extend a lot of grace to each other. I do want to take a moment here at the very beginning to say, we do not want to become a news story. We've seen already in the news some folks who would come to church and they're sick, or they didn't realize they had it, and even most recently 180 other people were exposed to what they had. We know another church in Georgia opened up and 2 weeks later had to shut down. So let me just say very clearly, if you are sick, if you think you're sick, or you think you might be sick, I want to encourage you, stay home. We don't want to bring reproach on the name of Christ by becoming a supercell for this thing. And so there's no shame in staying home. We want to stress that. I also want to say, if you have allergies and you're going to be coughing or sniffing through a whole service, then probably don't want to cause people around you to think, does that person have what I think they have? I don't know that they'll be thinking about Christ if they're thinking about your cough. So listen, if you got any of that, allergies, just take a Sunday, stay home, and come when you're sure that you're clear of those things. No shame in that. I do want to say our staff will be wearing masks inside and outside. And both of these, just in trying to follow the procedures that have been set before us. And because we're going to be in multiple services. And so we especially don't want to be those who are spreading any part of the problem. We want to be a part of the solution. Our staff also will not be hugging or high-fiving or even handshaking, just as a means, again, of minimizing contacts. We will wave, we will greet you, we're gonna smile, but you should know, just as a staff, being in multiple services and around both crowds, we don't want to be a part of the problem. And so you can expect that we're going to be glad to see you. We're just going to minimize our physical contact, and it'll be difficult for many of you and many of us. I also want to say then on that point, if your family is a hugger and you're carefree about hugging right now, just know that other families may not all be there. So don't put them in an awkward position of say, hey, we're huggers. Don't put them in the awkward position of having to tell you no. Let's all try to exercise a little restraint and maybe minimize our contacts here on campus for just a short while. We're telling our staff, look, this is just June. We're just trying to get through June. So want to encourage you, don't put people in awkward positions to have to tell you no or be embarrassed. Let's try to minimize those of you that live in a little more freedom, celebrate that, but let's not push that onto others who may be a little hesitant about that. Let's leave space for everyone to make their own decisions under the guidance of the Spirit for their families right now as they navigate these tough times. Before you arrive, we want to encourage everyone to register. Obviously, we can fit as many as we need outside, but we still, for our planning purposes, it's helpful if you will register, and you can register as many as 10 people with you. So maybe there's a guest family you're bringing. Please continue to bring them, but you can sign that number up on our website online. We will have the words to the songs for our outdoor service. We'll have those in our app. And you can use the app, so you may want to download the app before you come. The way that we're setting up that field, we're not going to be able to project those words so that everyone will be able to see them clearly. Or you can even print the words, but we're not going to be handing out printed copies. No childcare, so plan to have your children with you. Whatever you need to bring that would be helpful for them, whether it's journals or even some toys, it's okay. Bring your lawn chairs, bring your blankets. If you're going to bring your big tent umbrella, just don't set up in the middle of the whole field. There are going to be lines that are about 8 feet apart, spray painted on the field out there. And if you'll just set up on one of those lines, but we will have folks that are guiding you. We will also have an FM station to which you will be able to tune to, but it'll be a means of you're welcome to just pull in and sit in your car and be able to tune into that station and join us that way. If there is bad weather, we'll make that decision before 7 a.m. And what you will be able to do is, if there are registration spots still available for our indoor 11 o'clock service, you can sign up for that. When it's full, it will shut off. But our service outside will look fairly normal. We'll have our call to worship, we'll have singing, we'll have our teaching. Our response time is going to be a little bit different. We're going to continue with if you want to respond to text to that specific number, and a pastoral staff member will contact you that afternoon in order to minimize just the face-to-face sort of meetings. We're still going to provide the opportunity for you to respond. We'll also have times for offering. There will be boxes for those of you. About 80% of you have been giving online, and we want to encourage you to continue to do that if that's what's best for you. You'll have time to pray with your family, as you always do, and you can give there in the box as well. No Connect group will be meeting indoors. That's where you need to just be in touch with your leaders. They may have an area that's already been reserved for your Connect group. And then the restrooms, the brick building that's out by Hebron Park, and then the modulars, buildings F and G, those restrooms will be open. And we have teams that will be making sure that social distancing is maintained, that sanitary things are taken care of. I want to talk about some special considerations. We will not have communion every Sunday, but the first Sunday, obviously, of every month. And so for our outdoor service and our indoor service, in both these locations, we will have tables set up and we will have the elements spread out. And we're asking one adult from each family to come get the elements that they will need for their family to participate in the Lord's Supper. But you're not going to have to stick in a basket. Our people putting them out will have gloves on and spread them out so that you don't have to touch 50 of them to get 2. So you'll be able to grab what you need. I also want to say to you, if you feel more confident in bringing your own elements to be able to participate in during the season, we're okay with that. It is okay for you to bring those for your family on the first Sunday of each month and to observe. And so we're fine with that. I know that we didn't envision having to communicate all of these practices or procedures that we're putting in place. And in some ways, it's going to be different than it's ever been before. We know that. But we also know it is going to be sweet to gather. We may not be able to do all that we normally would want to do when we gather just yet, but we want to ease back into this. We don't want to do things that would prevent us from future gatherings. And so I just want to remind you again, if there's a remote chance of any sickness, just stay home. Watch it online and join us the next Sunday. But for those of you who do come, you know, even when they rebuilt the temple after exile, those who'd seen it before grieved because it wasn't what it was like before. And there may be some grieving, even as we celebrate getting together, there may be some grieving, but this is not the way it's going to be forever. We just need to get through this season, and there are hopes that what we love about being able to get together, we're the church. We're meant to hug. We're meant to cry together. We're meant to high five and handshake. And so we hope that season will return very, very quickly. I also want to encourage you, we are going to be able to celebrate. We're going to have baptisms in these services. We'll have one outside, we'll have one inside, and we're going to be able to spread those out over the Sundays in June. And we get to celebrate that God has been working. And so I look forward to us being able to gather around a horse trial out there, or to see inside here in our normal baptistry. But I also want to encourage you in 2 ways. This week, I received an email from a guest who's been watching our services online. They moved here in the middle of all this, and the only experience they have with Hebron is our online services. but they were among the first to write an encouraging email about what they've seen from our services and to say they were ready to sign up and register and to have their first Sunday on campus. I also was just walking in with my children to our school to pick up their stuff from their locker and their cubbies, and another mom stopped me and said she'd been watching our services online, and when we can gather again, that she and her family were wanting to join us and be a part of that. And so I want to share this to say that I know it's been difficult, but the good news is God has still been working and moving and building his church, and he's going to do that. And even when we gather, even through masks, even through gloves that some may wear, even through distancing, God moves and God works, and we know he's going to do that. And so I'm just going to be excited to see so many of you, even if we are spread apart. I'm looking so forward to seeing so many of you on campus, and I look forward to us moving closer and closer and closer back to normal. But in the meantime, let's help each other get through this unique time. Let's follow some of the best practices that we know so that we can do so with integrity, so that we can do so without bringing reproach on Christ in any way by being negligent or foolish. And let's do so with hope and expectation that this virus doesn't get the last word. In all things, Christ has the last word, and he reigns for our good. So I want to comfort you with that, and we look forward to seeing you very soon.